Hello. So just so you know, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to enter the room. Obviously, we're running our webinar on how to price your project accurately so you win more work. It's a really fundamental part of the business. It's very, very important for anyone to be able to price their projects accurately and ensure that they can win more work. Fundamentally, part of any construction or building business, you have to be able to price your work accurately. And that can mean several different things. That can mean tendering for stuff, whether you are doing your own development, ensuring that everything you do is being priced accurately. Because if you get this wrong at the front end and you get it wrong now, this is going to cause months and months and months of pain. So I'm gonna kick off, and we're going to look at where you are right now. So you might be unsure what pricing you're doing that's winning you work and what isn't. You might not be understanding what projects are making you money, which ones are not making you money. You might be in a position where you're feeling stressed and unmotivated because you're pricing work, but you're not winning it. Or you might feel like you're winning lots of work and wondering, actually, why am I winning so much work? Is it because I'm too cheap? You might be feeling the drain, the financial drain. You might be feeling like you're working long hours. Ultimately, it's not the type of business you want to be running, and you're looking to be more successful and ensure that you're pricing your project more accurately. So now imagine that you're in a position that you're pricing all your jobs really accurately and everything's just bang on. You're winning more projects. You know that the projects that you're winning are making you more profit. You're managing your subcontractors and your suppliers much better and you're maximizing them profits. You're financially free because the business is doing well and you have better management systems in place so that the projects are getting managed much, much more efficiently. So I'm sure you would agree, to get from where we are right now to where you want to be, you need a new strategy. And having a new strategy is hugely, hugely important. But how do you get there fast? And I get asked this question so many times. How do I get to a position where I can get there quickly? So I can be from a position where I'm not pricing projects so accurately to being able to be in a position where I can price projects much more accurately and be much more confident in what I'm submitting to clients. What I would say is you need to become a highly trained construction business owner that prices projects accurately, wins more work and makes more profit. Now, when we look at that, it's looking at them segments in individual sections. So how are you pricing your work? How are you winning more work? And how are you monitoring that profitability? It's so, so important. Now, the thing here is, what is really important is when you're looking at the estimating process and looking at pricing work accurately, how do you get to that position? So here's some of the things that we're going to be looking at today. One is using the right template. It's hugely, hugely important that you're always using the right template. And we'll go through this in more detail later on. You want to improve that estimating process so you know exactly what that estimating process actually looks like. We're going to look at some of the biggest estimating mistakes that I've seen. I've been in the industry over 15 years and I've seen some really bad estimating mistakes that have cost people direly. You know, I know people that they've made estimating mistakes and it's cost them their business effectively. We're going to look at how you price work properly and you win more work to grow your business. This is massively important for any construction or property business owner. So why look at pricing and estimating accuracy? Right now more than ever before, the world's a different place. We're in a changed economy. When we went through, we had post-COVID, we've been in post-recession since 2010. So we've had, you know, almost 14 years of fantastic growth in the construction industry. What we've seen in the last 12 months has been entirely different to that. labour rates have gone up, material rates have gone up, and actually more recently in the last 12 months, interest rates have gone up, meaning that developers are now in a position and people building projects are now in a position where the cost of borrowing has increased. So the viability and the feasibility of a project has changed in its landscape altogether. So it's really important that you look at the opportunity in the marketplace right now for you. When we look at pricing a project, if you don't get that right now, you're going to inevitably in a position where you end up losing projects because you're too expensive, or winning projects and actually not making the money or making a loss because you haven't understood the market, you haven't understood where labour's going, you haven't understood where material prices are going, or what's projected to happen in the next 6, 12, 18 months, depending on the size and scale of the project that you're working. Now, one thing I want to say is throughout this webinar, we won't be taking any questions, but if you've got questions, please put them in the chat box, and we will aim to answer these questions towards the end of the webinar. If there's any questions that are not answered during this webinar, then we'll look at that. We'll try and answer them at the end. And if we don't get time to answer at the end, we'll contact you personally to make sure your question is answered. So if there's anything that you don't quite understand about what I'm talking about today, please feel free to reach out at any time. We love supporting our clients and making sure that we can help you as much as we can. So you want to become a construction business owner that prices projects accurately, has an unbeatable sales process. You want to make more profit and inevitably accelerate all your results from conception of a client all the way through to completion and getting that repeat business. So you want to become a whole-rounded construction business owner that sees success, which is hugely, hugely important. In our business and over my almost 2 decades in construction, I've had thousands of clients just like you seeing massive results. Now, I could talk about hundreds of clients that I personally have worked with over a decade. You know, I've got Sarah and Adrian. We probably win 98% of the tenders that we produce for them because they've nailed the sales process. They've nailed the estimating process. They know what their clients are looking for. Again, when you look at James, we've been helping them produce their estimates and helping them do their projects, helping them with post project questions and really supporting them. And then you look at Jamie from Associated. Well, when Jamie first started with me and he was a personal client of mine, I was pricing small little bathroom renovations for him, where we'd strip out a bathroom and we would effectively retile it and fit a new suite in. That was what he was doing probably 13, 14 years ago. Now he's securing multi-million-pound commercial projects, and he wouldn't probably touch a project for less than £1 million now. And they're doing fantastically well because of some of the amazing estimating work we do for them and the amount we support clients during that process. So who am I? I'm Parm Bhangal. I'm managing director of My Build Estimate. I'm a business coach. I'm a mentor. I'm a father of 2. I'm a husband. And I do my best to help everyone around me for a better life for myself, my family, my friends, my colleagues, and our clients. We've built up a business with almost 30 staff who produce, I would say, between 70 and 100 estimates a week out of this office. So we have a real good grasp of estimating and what estimating actually looks like. It's not always been like this. You know, I started My Build Estimate a decade ago, and when I started the business a decade ago, our databases of costs, our contacts within materials, our contacts within subcontractors was minute compared to where they are today. So when I look at my success and our business during that decade, how have we got to a position where we're now probably the number one, if not the number one estimating firm in the UK? It's because of the relationship and the growth that we've had over the time. But like I said, at the beginning, it wasn't like this. It wasn't so easy for us. Have you ever been in a position where you thought you had it so right, but in fact you had it so wrong? Now, so many of I speak to clients every single day, and I've got clients that turn over £5 million, but they wouldn't be able to tell you whether they're making profit on this project or that project. They go running their business throughout the whole year, and then they're in a position where at the end of the year, their accountant gives them a piece of paper and says, "You've made this much profit." That's not running efficient construction business. So you might feel that you're really successful right now, but actually it could be so much better than what it is now. Or you might be in a position where actually you do feel like you've got it all wrong, and you do feel like the process could be better. And that's what we're here to help you do today. We're here to help you achieve something special within your construction business. There's nothing special about me, but there's something very special about the system that we've created and the templates that we've created that help thousands of clients, just like you, to achieve huge success within their construction and their property businesses, to help them price projects accurately and to help them win more work. So My Broad Estimate, who are we? We're the UK's leading estimators. We have produced over 20,000 estimates in the last decade. Our projects range from like £5,000 porch extensions all the way up to £25 million new builds. So we work on a huge variety of projects, and we have a lot of specialists within our office that can help with specialist M&E, groundworks, piling, whatever it might be. We can help you with it. We offer great turnaround times. Our standard turnaround service is from 7 to 10 days, but we can turn things around as quick as 24 hours. All of our estimates are bespoke to you. So when we look at our estimating process and we talk about having the best estimates and ensuring you price works accurately and to ensure you present it well, the reason why that works so well is because all of our estimates are bespoke to you and your business. So they look like they're coming from you. So when you produce an estimate that comes from you, it's got your logos on it, goes to your client, it's well presented, it looks nice. A client will look at it and go, these people have spent some time and effort on their projects, and it looks like they care about helping us. So it's that initial presentation that really helps with closing the deal. Our aim as a business is to help you win more profitable work. Ultimately, like I said, that construction estimating process is so important, because if you get that wrong, you're going to feel the pain for the duration of at least that project, and it's an investment. Investing in estimating is the key to the success of your business. If you get that piece of the puzzle wrong, your business will not be successful. And I've seen it happen time and time again. I've seen people that have used cheaper estimating services that actually don't offer the value that they feel like they need to have, and therefore it causes them problems in the future. And I've seen some of our clients, lots of our clients, go through huge amount of success because we really help them fine tune and nail that estimating process. I want to introduce you to Sam. Here's Sam Tolson. He's a success story for us. Sam uses our services at My Broad Estimate, and he's also actually been on my personal coaching and mentoring program where I've helped him build the systems and processes into his business. We helped Sam progress from small. He was doing very small refurbishments. Now he does very large commercial new builds. He's one of Costa Coffee's main contractors. And he's got a multi-million-pound construction business. So if you're looking for similar success, reach out to us. We would love to work with you. We'd love to help you on your journey in doing it. So we're talking about estimating mistakes. Like I said, over the last decade, I've seen lots and lots of estimating mistakes. And these are just some of the ones that you need to look at. Incomplete project scopes. Now, the amount of projects we get in where the scope is incomplete. And when we talk about scope, we're talking about scope and specification. It's incomplete. You don't really know what you're pricing. So what's going to inevitably happen? You're going to price a project guessing what a client wants. And if you're pricing against 3 or 4 other builders and they're also doing the same thing, you may be in a position where you've guessed that their spec is higher than what it should be, but actually you're in a position where the spec is more than what it should be or less than what it should be. Now, when you look at the another big estimating mistake, it's lack of detailed drawings. So you're in a position where the drawings are not very good and you haven't got the type of information you need to accurately price the project. It might be you've got planning drawings, and this is when we look at the steps of different levels of details you need in drawings. But if you haven't got that step right, it will be making estimating mistakes. Ignoring site conditions. So you might have very specific site conditions that are bespoke to that project. Now, if you ignore them site conditions, you'll make a mistake in your estimating. If the site has got limited access and you haven't accounted for that and you need extra labour to ensure that your running materials, your demolition materials are not being able to go out by excavators, you're not be able to excavate by machine, then site conditions, you ignore them and you'll make fatal mistake in your pricing. Inaccurate quantity takeoffs. Again, this is another thing that we see so often is people make a mistake on a bit of on a quant, or it might be brickwork, might be roof, and that leads to problems in the future. And then not considering market fluctuations. Now, at the beginning, I spoke about market fluctuations within the industry. In the last 12 months, labour, materials, we've seen some of the biggest rises in material costs in the last 12 to 18 months. Now, that was very difficult to anticipate. But what I would say is we're in a position now where you need to consider what their market fluctuations are going to look like going forward. What's the sort of information that's coming out from outside in the market? Now, when we look at project underestimating labour costs, now labour costs are hugely important to the success of your business. Labour could be 60% of your project costs. Now, if you underestimate or you don't know what your subcontractors are charging, you don't know what your guys on site are charging, you don't know what the day rate rates are. If you underestimate that, that's going to cause huge estimating mistakes. Overlooking regulations. Again, the amount of people that I've seen that have missed information within planning documentation about working hours, and then they've realized that they're not allowed to work as long as they feel like, therefore the project duration's increased. And if the project duration increase, then your welfare on site's longer, your toilets on sites for longer, and that all costs money. Not including contingencies. Where you feel like there's risk on a project, you have to include a contingency. And you have to account for that in your estimating process. Inadequate market research. The amount of people that do not do their market research into the local market. So if you know you're working in a specific location that you're not aware of, you've not worked there before, you need to research the market. You know, where's my local merchants? How do I get materials here? What does that market look like? And do I need to, is there anything that I need to understand in that marketplace? It might just be specification of the project. If you don't understand the specification of the project and what that market looks like, you're going to either overprice or you're going to underprice, because the expectations of the local market are different to what you're pricing for. And then there's overlooking project risks. Now, when we look at project risk, it's any risk on the project. That could be risk on, let's have a think about project risk. So project risk could be, again, contamination. You know, is the area known to have contaminated spoil? Is the area in a place where you're going to have substantial groundworks? What are the risks on the project, and how will they affect you, and how will they affect your pricing? Next, we look at why it's so important that you avoid these mistakes, because an accurate estimate is really important to the success of whether you're profitable or not. And unfortunately, we're in a position where what happens in the market is that you're not always told that your estimate is not right. A lot of clients might take the cheapest price, but without knowing the qualifications, the assumptions, or the exclusions. And if you're in that position and you've underestimated something, and then you go on to win that project, and you go on to sign a contract and do the work, at some point you're going to feel the pain of that. And that is a position nobody wants to be in. So it's essential that you avoid these mistakes and understand what an accurate estimate needs to look like. So how to price your project accurately to win more work? First of all, you have to get your pricing structure right. So we have various templates, outlines, budgets, full cost plans, whatever it might be, whatever level of service it might be, you have to get that structure right. Using the right estimating service template is absolutely essential. Presenting your estimate thoroughly. Now, we see a lot of buildings just A4 sheet paper. These are the 25 things included, and actually this is the final price. Well, that doesn't consist of a thorough estimate, and it doesn't allow for the client to look at your costs and look at the effort that you put into tendering. And then adding on a good follow-up process. Now, we're not going to talk a lot about this within today's webinar, but it's one of the things I help clients with, is to ensure that your follow-up process on that estimate is good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our different levels of service and how we help people. So when we look at an outline estimate is our very basic service. It's the front end service. It's the first thing that we do. So this could be where you've got a client, they say, I want to build a house. It's going to be 100 square meters. I haven't really gone in for planning. I just want to see what the rough budget is going to be. Or you might have some planning drawings. They just want to get an indication of a range of costs. Now, this is what an outline is. It says your project's going to be between 100 and 120,000 based on these qualifications, assumptions, and exclusions. If you go and see a client, they're not quite sure what they want. They're just trying to get some guidance from you. This is the perfect level. You're offering them a little bit of insight into what that looks like, and actually you're getting your foot in the door by presenting them something which is actually of good value to them, but doesn't cost the earth for you to produce or for us to produce on your behalf. We then go up to our next level of service, which is our budget estimate. Now, for a budget estimate, we would say this is good for projects that have got a little bit more detail. They've gone through planning. They might have their building reg drawings or construction drawings, but they may not have gone to an engineer or an M&E consultant. And this is an estimate that's broken down into each one of the elements. So demo, sub, super, roof, windows and doors, partitions, internal finishes, M&E, etc. And it's broken down enough that it provides a good level of detail to a client so they can understand what you've actually priced, what you've accounted for, what you haven't accounted for. When you look at this document is, again, it's at the beginning stage of a project. It's really important at the front end stage. So it's kind of slightly past an outline estimate, but more into the budget. And a range where you have to present something with more meat on the bones. And then after this, once your client's got a good indication of what these costs look like, they might go on, and you should go on to get a full estimate. So this is our full breakdown. What this looks like is it looks like everything in full detail. So when you look at the cover sheet would you have your logo on there. It will be presented from your company to that individual. It'll have a full set of qualifications, assumptions, and exclusion. And these are hugely important. People underestimate this page. This page is effectively your black and white terms and conditions that get attached to your terms and conditions and your contract. This can be the page that one gets you out of trouble sometimes because you've assumed something and your assumption might not be quite where it needs to be, but you've said you've assumed it. So in the grand scheme of things, you've made it very clear that that's been assumed, or that's been excluded, or that is something that we just generally qualify as something within a project. Then we list out our drawing numbers. The drawing numbers, again, we get asked a lot about this page. Why are we back to drawing numbers? The amount of times we get project estimate, this is the initial set of tender drawings, and then contract signed, start work, 3 months down the line, project drawing changes. Rev A, Rev B, Rev C, Rev Z, whatever it might be. And you're in a position there that you've got, well, we've got to Rev C now and haven't charged a variation yet, even though the plans have changed this much. And then the client goes, or the architect goes, we haven't changed the drawings. These were the ones issued to you at tender. Well, no, they weren't, because our tender or our estimate shows what information we use to produce this estimate. It helps you. It helps you to go, well, this is the set of drawings that we tendered on, and now this is the revised set of information. So again, it's such a huge vital piece of that estimate. And then you go into the breakdown. So again, you get substructure, superstructure, windows and doors, roof. You get all the elements, but they're built up in a lot more detail, a lot more information. So when you look at your substructure page, it would have excavate to reduce levels, cart away spoil, excavate foundations, cart away spoil and concrete. Below DPC brickwork built up of all the elements. So we below DPC brick, concrete blocks, it will have your telescopic fence, your air bricks, it will have the concrete fill on them. And then when you look at your substructure, ground floor slab or your beam and block or whatever the build up might be, it'll have this broken down in detail as well, including the information required for the insulation. So it might be Celotex or Kingspan, that specific product, or if that product's not available, what we've assumed is the correct product. So this is a fully detailed estimate, black and white, of what's included and what is not included. When we look at our full estimate example, what you get is you get in the top right, you can see the summary page. So you see summary, it has demo, sub, super. So it has them all broken down, it shows you the price of them, or if there's no works in that section, it shows you no work. To the right of that, in the Excel, you'll see the labour, materials, and the markup breakdown. So within that, say, £19,000 demolition, you can see 17 of that is labour, there's no material in there, and the rest is in the markup. On each page, what you get, so the bottom right, is a description of the work, the quantity associated with that, the unit, the rate, and the total. And within that rate section, you see afterwards, you see the labour rate, material rate, and the markup rate. So that is the build up of the rate. And then next to that, you see the totals, which is the labour total, the material total, and the markup total. Now, these are hugely important for the project at the back end, because whilst you're doing the project, you can see what breakdown has been allowed for within any element of the build. It allows you to manage the project finances much more efficiently. So you put all that hard work in the front end, and because you put all that hard work in the front end, it means the back end, you can see, well, actually, I've been able to squeeze a little bit more out of my supplier, so therefore I've got my materials a little bit cheaper, and that's enabling me to make a little bit of a markup and a bit more profit on that item. Again, the amount of builders and contractors we see do not have an understanding of where they're making their money, where they're not making their money. And unless you monitor and manage that throughout the process, from estimating all the way through to construction, you're never going to be able to improve that process. You're never going to be able to say, well, actually, on the last project, we made a loss on a decoration. And why did we make a loss on our decoration? We made a loss on our decoration because our material was priced too cheap. Okay, so we figured out what the problem is. We can then resolve that problem. So on any future ongoing projects, that is fixed. If you don't do that and you don't understand that, on any project, you're never going to be able to monitor, manage, or improve the process. So creating the perfect estimate. Now, this is what we're here to do for you. This is what we're here to help you with. And this is what we do day in, day out for thousands of clients. We do dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, every single week. We look at your company costs and your company overheads. Now, this is one thing you really need to understand. Sometimes we have a client that says, can you price this project for us? Just do it on the average market rates. But there's no such thing as average market rates. It's very bespoke. You know, you might have a ground worker that's very efficient and much cheaper than a typical ground worker. However, your bricklayer might be a lot more expensive. Now, if we don't balance these costs out within the pricing, we're never going to get the pricing right to be more efficient and to do more work. So we have to understand your company costs and your company overheads. You need to understand that. You know, are you a one-man band? You pay for insurance, you've got your own van, and that's your overheads. Are you a bigger construction firm that's got offices, admin staff, site managers, project managers, health and safety guys, and you need to allow for all that overhead within your project? No matter who you are, whatever size you are, you need to know what these costs are. How are you costing your time with your project? Now, I ask this question to a lot of my clients. If you're on the tools and you're doing work, then you're effectively in a position where you're earning your keep, or you're earning your money from actually doing the work. So you're charged into the rates of the estimate. If you're not doing that, and you're managing the projects, or you're managing multiple projects, or you're managing your subcontractors, how are you charging your time into that project? Because there's an overhead and profit on any estimate. Are you seeing the overhead and profit as your money, or is the overhead and profit the business's money? If it's the business's money, where's your project management plan? And how do you account for that? And then it's about balancing up that project. Is this project too small to allow for overhead, a management fee? Because that's when you have to analyze the market condition that we were talking about earlier. If you're going up against maybe a one-man band, you're not a one-man band, and your overheads are significantly higher, you're not going to be as competitive. So you have to also be in the right market and understand what you need to do and what position you're in, and how you cost your time into a project to get the perfect estimate. How are you costing your own plant and tools into the project? Now, when I look at this is a huge one that people miss all the time. They don't cost their plant and tools into the project. You've invested in plant and tools, and you've made significant investment into that. Now, if you've made a significant investment into plant and tools, the user needs to be charged for that. And if you're not doing that, then you're making a mistake, and you need to have the perfect estimate, and to get your estimate right, you need to look at how you charge your plant and tools into the project. You need to have a good understanding of your subcontractors and suppliers. Again, the amount of clients that I speak to that don't understand what their plasterers charge, they don't understand what their groundworkers charge, they don't understand how much their bricklayers are charging per 1,000 on the bricks or per 100 on the blocks. If you don't understand that, how can you charge them into your estimate? You have to be able to understand that so you can have the perfect estimate. And then you've got to ensure that you've cross-checked all the costs and all the quantities. This is one thing that we like to do within the business, is we try to create the perfect estimate for every single client. We try to understand their company costs and overheads, how they're costing their time into the project, what investment they've made into plant and tools, and how they're going to cost that into the project. Have they got a good understanding of their subcontractors and their suppliers? And do they understand what the things are costing them? And actually, we ensure that we've cross-checked all the costs and all the quantities, and we have mechanisms in place within our business to ensure that that happens. How to ensure the pricing is right. Now, this is very, very different to how to ensure that you have the perfect estimate. Having the perfect estimate is all about how you present and understanding your business and understanding the mechanisms of the estimating process. How do you ensure that your pricing is right is an entirely different concept. You have to have a thorough understanding of the project scope. Now, this comes back to communication with your client. If you haven't understood what your client is specifically looking for, then your pricing isn't going to be right because you've not understand the spec that your client requires. Client might come in and say, I want you to build these flats for me. Okay, no problem. We can build the flats for you, and you run off and you go and do an estimate. A much better question to that client is, okay, we see you want to build apartments. Are these apartments built to rent or they're built to sell? Okay, they're built to rent. Well, build to rent specification is going to be entirely different to build to sell, because that's going to require slightly higher specification, because at the end of the project, you need to be able to sell your apartment. So you need to understand that project scope. So having a list of questions that you go and ask your client is hugely important. Getting the quantity takeoff right. You have to ensure that your quants are right. You have to ensure your quants are correct. You've got your right contingencies within them. So the one big mistake we see from people is not allowing for the wastage of materials. So a single plasterboard or a single board of insulation, 2.4 by 1.2. Okay, well, that's 2.88 square meters. If you've got a 1 square meter porch, you're not going to be able to buy half a board. You have to charge them for the full board. So it's about getting the quantity takeoff right, so you know it's a square meter, but it's about getting the pricing right, so you know you have to buy a board, but at the same time, it has to round up to the square meter cost because that's what you're averaging for. So it's about getting the quantity takeoff right and understanding what that process actually looks like. Realistic labor costs. Again, this is something we see day in, day out incorrect. People are not understanding what their labor is actually costing them, and they're not pricing that right into their estimates. But if you don't price that right into your estimate, your pricing is never going to be correct, and you're never going to win a project. And if you do win a project and it's too low, it's going to cause you pain and aggravation. So you've got to understand the direct labor that you employ, what the cost is of that, and how efficient that direct labor is. Efficiency of labor is very, very important. If you're paying someone £200 a day, you need to know how efficient that person is going to be. What amount of work can this person actually get done? So having them realistic labor costs are hugely important, and looking how efficient your actual team is very, 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 very important to getting the price right. Understanding the market conditions. So again, understanding the demographic of where you're working, understanding, is this prime central London? Is it opposite Harrods? Well, that pricing is going to be entirely different to somewhere in Sheffield. They are entirely two different projects in two different locations with two entirely different market conditions. You have to know the market conditions that you're working in. You have to understand them. You have to price them accurately. Understanding the risks on the project. Again, when you look at the risks on the project, what are the risks on the project? Are the risks on the project that access is poor? Are the risks on the project that the client's going to be living in the property? That's going to mean that every day you're going to have temporary works to do. Is understanding what that looks like so that you're pricing the project correctly. Having a contingency plan in place. So if there's things that you've had to put in as a PC or provisional sum, or you had to make assumption of it, have you got the correct contingency in place to ensure you don't get stung? That's hugely, hugely important as well. People are learning these new skills and taking their business to new levels every single day. Like I said, not in my build estimate, we're helping thousands of clients every single year price projects accurately. I personally coach and mentor people to help them improve their business. And I go out and I talk to different people on different stages to try and help them improve their business and make their estimating construction process a lot more efficient and a lot more profitable. It's an easy and simple process to follow. We help you with this on a step-by-step basis. We help you through what we think you need as a service, how we can support you during the estimating process. We'll help you look at your follow-up process. We'll help you look at your post estimating process. So once you've signed the contract, we can help with other services also. We have a wide variety of services. We do cash flow forecast, we do program, we do schedules of works, we do contracts, we help with valuation. There's lots and lots of services that we can also help you with, but we can also help you understand what that needs to look like within your own business. What is my mission? My mission is to ensure you price your project accurately. I've spent, like I said, 15 years helping people price projects accurately and win more work, get their tenders in. And that is one of the things that I've mastered over the last 15 years and built up a team that also help to service more clients to get them better sales conversion. We help you get better sales conversion. We want to help you make more profit. I want to help you get more leads into your business, price them projects properly, get the better conversion, help you make more profit. And then inevitably, that's going to help you grow your business. And that's going to help you make your business more efficient, because that's the perfect construction business. How do you become a winner in construction? You have to get the pricing structure right. So you have to understand at what step of the process you need what service. So do I need an outline? Do I need a budget? Do I need a full? We will help you with that. You have to decide on which structure you're going to use. How are you going to communicate with the client? And how are you going to nurture them through each step of the process? You have to develop the right sales process. So it has to be a working process. The amount of clients that I've met that come over to my build estimate and they say, need you to do this estimate. Okay, done the estimate, we send it back to you. They send it to their client and they don't even look at the piece of paper. They don't even look at the estimate. And then they come back to us a month later and say, I didn't win that project. But what process did you put in place? Did you present your offer to the client? No. Did you follow up? No. Well, how have you not done any of that stuff? So if you want to become a winner in construction, you have to develop the right sales process. You have to understand how to present your offer, and you have to have a good follow-up process. Because if you don't have any of that, then you won't become a winner in construction, because the other people or the other companies that you're competing with, if they do get the right pricing structure, if they do get a good quality estimating company like My Build Estimate to do their estimates for them, and they develop the right sales process, and they go and present their offer to the client, and then they have an excellent follow-up process, and you do none of that, which company do you feel like would actually be in front running to win that project? It's not going to be you, it's going to be the other company, because they are ensuring that they do every piece of the puzzle. And if you don't do every piece of the puzzle, it's highly, highly likely that these things are the ones that will cost you your project, or cost you winning the project. Clients now are very, very different to how they used to be before. You know, we're not in the same market. People want to be nurtured. People want to be in a position where they feel like they're being cared The market is entirely different. The construction industry has, in a way, been given quite a bad reputation over the last decade. There's lots of programs on cowboy building, you're always seeing these negative things. And with the accessibility of things like Google, prices can be checked very, very easily. So unless you offer your client a little bit more and you nurture that relationship and you have the perfect estimating process, you're not going to be in front running to win that project. So you have to get these 5 steps right. You have to get the estimating process right. You have to start eliminating them biggest estimating mistakes to ensure you put yourself in a winning position. And it's important that you do that. As part of my whole process, we look at the 5 things you need to succeed. You need the motivation to want to achieve more. If you don't want to achieve more out of your business, then these steps are never going to work because you're not motivated to make them work. You need detailed, simplified training to help you. So training on how do I put these pieces of the puzzle together, how do I put my estimating process together, how do I create a thorough estimate, and whether you use us to do that, your estimating, or you do it yourself, or you have an estimator, whatever situation you might be in, you need simplified training on how to make that work efficiently. You need step-by-step support, and this is something we offer to all of our clients. We offer step-by-step support to help them. Accountability, you need someone to hold you accountable. You need to hold yourself accountable, or you need someone to hold you accountable. And you have to be consistent. Over and over again, I see clients, they're very consistent until they're in a load of work that might keep them busy for 12 months. And then once that 12 months, once they get into the 10 months of their 12 months, they realize then that they need to start estimating again because they're soon going to run out of work. You have to be constantly pricing work. You have to be constantly looking for leads. You have to be constantly estimating projects. You have to be constantly talking to clients, because otherwise you're fighting a battle to win work, you're winning work, you're then fighting a battle to do work. And then what's happening is that you get to the end of that project and you realize that you've got to go straight back to step 1 and go back to the estimating process. Whereas if you tackle that constantly throughout the year, you're consistent with getting leads, pricing work, improving the estimating process, it will help you be more successful. So these are the 5 things you really need to succeed. How do I build estimates support you? Now, we've got lots and lots of support mechanisms in place. We have our Facebook construction club, free to join, anyone can join. It's a community of people that can discuss construction projects, whether you're looking for specific material, whether you're looking for advice. There's other people in the club that can help you, that answer your questions. Feel free to join the club. It's on Facebook. It's absolutely free. It's a community that wants to help each other, support each other. We're in there. Some of my colleagues are in there, and we'll always do our best to answer any of your questions. As a business, you're welcome to make an appointment to visit our office at any time. We really love clients coming in, speaking to us, who are looking for help. And we're always happy to invite people in and help you through that process. In terms of where you can find us, it's probably more like where can't you find us, because we make ourselves very accessible. You know, WhatsApp, mobile, office phones. We do meetings via Zoom, Teams, face-to-face. You can email us. We're on all the social media platforms, so you can message us on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We have YouTube series that go out about improvements to your business, how our estimating services work. Ultimately, we're here to support you at every step of the process and do our best to help you win. Because if you win and you're winning more work, you're getting more leads, and we're doing more estimates for you, we win together. And that's what I've seen in over a decade, is I help my clients to win. My clients then do more business with us, they refer us, and the whole strategy works for everything. So 5 ways you can become a construction business owner that can price projects accurately, win more work, and make more profit, because that's why we're all here today. You have to have a winner's mindset. It's absolutely essential that you have a winner's mindset. You got to know that you're going out there to win work. You're not just going out there to produce estimates. You're going out there to win work so that you can make your business successful for whatever reason might be important to you. And that might be your family, it might be your future, it might be whatever goals you set for yourself in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But you have to have a winner's mindset. You have to have a well thought out business strategy. You have to know, what strategy am I going to take to ensure that I'm going to win? You have to set up your business systems. Now, when we look at the estimating process and the estimating system, you've got to make sure that piece of the puzzle is right, but you've also got to make sure all the other pieces of your puzzle are right as well. So in some of my coaching and mentoring programs, we help people put systems and processes into the business, not only to help with their estimating, to help with their staff management, to help with their financial management, to help with ongoing project management, how you report to your clients, how you report to your team, how your team reporting to you, but getting them systems and processes right. You need to look at how you put them processes together, how you get your team, how you get your subcontractor to report into you, so that processes are right. So that client A and client B get exactly the same or very, very, very similar quality of service. Because if their processes are not right, and your subcontractors or your team are not following the process, then ultimately somewhere down the line, your clients are going to become unhappy. And then the 5th thing that you need to do to become a successful construction business owner is to use fantastic estimating services. Now, like I said, My Build Estimate is the #1 estimating company in the UK. We have spent over a decade trying to become masters at this, and we've put a lot of work and effort into ensuring that we build the right client base, to build the right contacts, to have the right information for all of our clients, to ensure that we help them win more work and make more profit from their construction projects. And we support all of our clients to do that. Mastering your pricing strategy in a day. If you're eager to get your pricing strategy right, you can come and spend a day with me. Well, I help you to put these systems in place. It's an incredible one-day event where we will guide you step by step into getting that pricing strategy right. If you have any more questions or you want to talk to us about this one-day event, ping us an email after this. We're going to send you all an email after this anyway, and we're going to send you all of our templates so you can see what these templates look like. But ultimately, we're happy to have a chat with you about how we can help you in your estimating services, how I can help you in your estimating services, how I can help you on this one-day free event, or this one-day event to take your estimating process and your business process to the next level where it deserves to be. You can contact us today. That's our QR code. You just scan that and you'll be able to see all of our contact information. If you've got any further questions or you need any further assistance or just want to chat, reach out to us. We're always happy to have a chat. We've got a great dedicated team of advisors here, great estimating team, great administration and sales team. Always happy to answer any questions you might have relating to your construction, estimating, relating to contracts, whatever it might be. But we're always here to help you, and we want to support you as best as we can. So that is the end of today's webinar. I'm just going to check if we've got any questions. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat box. I can see we've got one here. If I did a viewing on an auction property, how do I know what sort of work has to be done, and ask you to do the estimate. If you're going to view a property at auction, what I would say, you need to take lots of pictures. It's really important that you take lots of pictures, because we can then help you assess what kind of things we feel like you need to estimate for. We can look at doing that front end budget cost. So when we look at the budget cost or the outline cost, we can say, well, roughly this project is going to be 100 to 120,000 pounds. So therefore you would need to look at your feasibility numbers, what you're purchasing for, what you're selling for, and whether based on that construction cost, you're likely to make a profit. So if you're going to view a property at auction, there's always that to look at. I had a question on win rates as well. What's an effective win rate? Now, we see clients that have win rates from 20%, so 2 out of 10 projects, and we have clients that have win rates 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. The more work you put into your estimating process, the higher your win rate is going to be. It's about being efficient. It's about ensuring that your estimating process, your pricing process is so efficient that you know where your pitfalls are. You know where things could go wrong. You know where you could be better. You know where you can reduce prices, increase prices. The better you understand your estimating process, the more likely you are to win project. I had a really funny question actually, which was, you advise to carry on doing leads, you carry on estimating projects, and carry on selling and follow-ups. What if you book in too much work? Well, there's probably no such thing as too much work. If more work's coming in than you can handle, it's about building that team. It's about building a team that will put you in a position where you can get that right, and you can put the right team in place to service the clients. So inevitably, you have to always put yourself forward to win more work, and that will keep your pipeline strong for the longest time possible. I think that's everything for today. I'm not seeing any further questions, but if you have any other questions come up, please feel free to reach out to us. We are going to send you some resources at the end of this. We'd love to help you with your estimating. We'd love to work closer with you. I want to thank you for your time, for being with us today. A team's going to reach out to you within the next 24 hours with the resources that we're going to send you. And like I said, come and speak to us about any of any issues you might have surrounding estimating, any process issues you might have around your business, and talk to us about how we can support you with that. So thank you very much for your time, everyone, today, and I hope to catch up with you soon.